Welcome to another edition of Cue It Up with the Q Brothers. As always, I'm John Quattrucci.
And I'm Ralph Quattrucci.
Ralph Quattrucci, who recently achieved a milestone, a milestone birthday.
Yeah, big one.
How old, Ralph?
60.
I'm sorry, I didn't see. What was that?
60.
60?
That's right.
So, are you getting Medicare information yet?
I already have AARP. I get into movies for a little less right now.
Very nice. Do you go to dinner at 4 o'clock?
I went to New Orleans for my birthday, and I was in bed every night by 8:30.
Well,
but that might have more to do with drinking all day long. I'll tell you a little story. So Friday night, we did a little boat trip, which was great. Turned out to be really nice. But we went back to the bar at 5 o'clock on Bourbon Street. And I started drinking those hurricanes, or as I like to call them, the mind erasers, which it did. So I was in bed very early that night. Anyway, fast forward to Saturday, the next day, same bartender. And I said to the guy, hey, I just want you to know, you made me forget the whole night. He goes, Ralph, I got to tell you something. First of all, I had the whole bar going with karaoke. There was another party there, 30 years old. I hung out with a couple of lesbians who I was having a ball with. He says to me, I've never seen pure joy on somebody's face except for a child on Christmas morning. He said, I've never seen anybody happier than you were that night.
What, when you were drinking the hurricanes?
I was having a ball in that bar until I didn't remember. And I was literally in bed by 8 o'clock that night. It was great. So I had a great 60th. Maria took me to New Orleans for my birthday. And
was that the first time you've been in New Orleans?
First time. And I can't wait to go back.
How was the food? Did you try?
I'm not a foodie, so I didn't do any. We went to a steakhouse for my birthday because I wasn't going to get crawfish or anything. Yeah. And that turned into we had a blast with some of the other patrons there. And, it was just New Orleans is so relaxed, so much fun. The boat trip I went on turned out to be quite moving because this guy did a whole voiceover narration about the hurricane.
Oh, really?
About Katrina, and I didn't expect to be moved by something on a tourist boat like this, and it was really wonderful. So it wasn't a
booze cruise.
Well, there was a lot of drinking, which might have enhanced my emotional feeling about it all. Plus, it was a little cloudy that day, and it wasn't beautifully sunny, so it kind of fit.
Oh,
and the guy had a great voice, and it just was really quite nice. So.
Well, happy birthday! Thank you. That's a big one, and. You definitely don't look 60. So
well, the only way I was allowed to go is if I had my colonoscopy too, and I pulled that one off as well.
Well, and you were supposed to get at 40, right?
It doesn't matter. Right? I got it.
Well, no, it does. But
I had to get it to go to New Orleans. I felt like it was worth it. So
Maria made you get it, or she wouldn't take it in New Orleans.
Correct.
So your brother, who's been trying to get you to get it for 20 years.
I guess you should have thrown New Orleans on the table.
Oh, well, next time I'll know better.
That's right.
And because I don't think you need another one for 10 years.
Enough with the 60.
Nothing. I'm just basking in the glow of the New England Patriots, who I thought were going to have a pretty horrible year. And they actually look, I don't know where they're going to go because they got to play Buffalo. They got to play the Cardinals. But they look pretty darn good. And that kid, Mac Jones, looks pretty good. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the Browns game, but they look really
I was
good.
watching the Washington the Patriot
the football team from the Washington football team
kicked the shit out of Tom Brady. They always do that. I used to work down there, and every time the Patriots would come in preseason or whatever, they always gave the Patriots a tough time. I don't know what it is. They definitely. I don't know if
you know do you know what a suicide pool is?
No.
So all these people get into a pool, and you pick a game every week, and if your team loses, you're out of the pool. Okay. So you try to pick the lopsided game.
The whole year you're out of the pool?
Yeah, you're out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know how many got eliminated with that game because I'm sure nobody picked Washington.
Why would you? There's no reason to.
Well, exactly.
The quarterback, Hankey, I guess his name. I don't even watch it. Hankey, whatever. Did great. So I guess now the Patriots are back in good standing with you guys.
Well, people are cautiously optimistic because, again, they got to play Buffalo, and I think Buffalo's the best team in the division. But they're a lot better than I thought they would be, so that's good. So, listen, I'm very excited about tonight. We have a special guest. We haven't done a show in a couple of weeks. Oh, one more thing. So, we want to get more content out, and Ralph has got this empire of shows, so he can't do this every week like you really need to to get content out there. So I'm going to start doing some movie reviews. Obviously, they're not going to be the long form that we're doing here. They'll be between 10 and 15 minutes. But I'm going to start putting those out so that on a week that Ralph and I aren't doing a show, I'm going to just do a movie review solo. It won't be the same. It won't be the banter that Ralph and I have, but at least we're going to get out some content. And I'll review some current movies. I'll do Dune, and I'm going to watch the new Bond flick this week, so I'll have one on that. So just an FYI out there. And of course, if you like what you see, I mean, just smash the like button, the subscribe, and share it. You know, there might be people out there who like what we do. I don't know. So I'm very excited about tonight because this week we have a special guest. He is an award-winning author of the book Chapel Street, a great book. Our friend from YKY, Sean Paul Murphy. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I've been waiting a long time to be part of the Q Brothers conspiracy.
Oh, well, easy. Slow down there.
We held you out a little bit. We held you out. We had your wife on. We had Debbie on the first show of this iteration.
The so Q-C-U-E up. Q-C-U-E.
The letter Q.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the letter
now it's Q. No, that's bad. That's bad. So we brought you on, and we're letting you pick the film. And why don't you tell everyone actually, it was a little surprising for me, but tell us what film you picked.
I picked Dogma.
What?
No, sorry.
I jumped the gun on the poster.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I picked the film My Name is Nobody from 1973. Oh, look, it's Sergio Leone presents.
I love that.
What he actually
Not directs,
presents.
he presents, right.
Well, apparently he directed bits and pieces of
I'm
the
sure
film,
he did.
including the opening sequence. Yeah. You know, but, well, first, I want to tell you, I didn't think you'd have a prop for the other movie. I was thinking of what would be a cool thing that will allow us to launch into something greater. And originally I was going to go with the film Vanishing Point from 1971. And the reason why is that was the first film I saw with breasts. You know, I saw it at the drive-in. My parents thought it was the second feature.
That's the first one, breasts on the screen. You always have first one with breasts, so that you saw on screen.
Yeah. You saw the Vanishing.
Yeah.
You saw the Vanishing at a drive-in.
Yeah, Vanishing Point. Not the Vanishing, Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point. Oh, with Barry Newman.
Barry Newman.
Barry Newman, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, I was thinking it would be cool for us all to talk about how our first experiences with, like, rated M movies or R movies. And
you're saying that because we already went through Ralph's Clute story, right? Yeah. So I see what you're doing. Okay, interesting.
But the problem is that Vanishing Point is not really streaming, or if it is, it's very expensive. I don't think it was actually on any service I had, and I've been wanting to buy it, you know. But so I thought that would have been a fun discussion. But I was actually inspired to bring this movie by one of you brothers. John.
I think John was talking about the trilogy there, the
the
Man with No Name trilogy.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone.
And, you know, to me, you know, I mean, there are a lot of spaghetti westerns, and I've seen a lot of them. Some, like Blind Man, I want to see and haven't seen yet. But to me, it's like the main ones are the trilogy, and which I think Sergio Leone's masterpiece, which is Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of bringing that to YKY one time. And a lot of people look at My Name is Nobody as sort of the coda of the Italian spaghetti western. You know, it's sort of like it's a western comedy, and it's a closing of the West type film. And it came out just as the rush of spaghetti westerns was dying down. Wow. And it was also the hand of Sergio Leone was seen throughout, and Ennio Morricone's score, you know, and it has Henry Fonda, who was also in
his last Western.
Time in the West.
That was his last Western, yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this is, and also it stars Terence Hill.
Right. I was just going to talk about him.
I love Terence Hill. I love the Trinity movies that came out earlier, 71, 72. And when I was growing up, you know, at the arcade theater, they used to show those Trinity is my, they call me Trinity,
right?
And Trinity is still my name all the time. Usually they could be a double feature, both of them, or it would be a double feature of something else, and they would show the Trinity film as one of the Trinity films as the second film.
I had never heard of Terence. I'd never heard of this guy before I saw this film.
Oh,
Terence
really?
Hill.
You did? Have you haven't seen the Trinity movies?
No, I have not. I am going to watch them now after seeing this one because I quite enjoyed this one. What year did Once Upon a Time in the West?
You will see his character.
68?
68, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time. So this was 5 years later.
Right.
You know.
Hey, let's show the trailer.
Trinity-
Let's show the trailer before we get too much
sure.
further, so we can see what this guy looks like and what's going on. All right, and we'll get back.
He looks like Franco Nero. When they can't cast Franco Nero, they cast him.
Right.
Like this.
How'd he do it, Pa? I only heard one shot.
How come you know so much about me? Everyone knows about Jack Beauregard. 16 days ain't very long, even for someone like you. If you go away, who's gonna be left? Nobody.
Maybe so, but a man's got to quit sometime.
Someone like you gotta go out with style.
But if I don't kill Beauregard first, he'll kill me. You know where he is?
Must be down below. The secret of a long life is to try not to shorten it.
The Wild Bunch.
Gotta hit the glass before it hits the floor. Fellas like you never seem to catch on. It's a matter of time before someone's gonna shoot holes in yours. It's always the best to the first to go.
Which means you ain't going nowhere.
Right there, there's Frank's theme. You hear it?
Good.
Since
Oh,
I was
yeah.
a boy, I always dreamed of you like that. An immense open plain. 150 purebred sons of bitches on horseback. You facing them alone. The next one might hit a couple of inches lower.
Who are you, anyway?
Who, me? Nobody.
I had never seen Terence Hill, and I was very impressed with his physicality, his looks,
His ice blue eyes.
the eyes. I mean, I know they sped up, the whole slapping scene, that stuff that he does when he's dueling people and he's slapping them around. And
Which
the
he
amount-
did in the Trinity movies too, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But his character in the Trinity movies was a lot less ambitious than this character. He was like the prototypical slacker. I mean, he just wanted to essentially sleep and, get in trouble and get into trouble. And I don't think he killed anybody in any of the Trinity movies. And I think in this movie, though a lot of people die, I think he only kills one person in this movie.
Yeah, him.
If
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
mistaken.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
When he tells Frank, when Beauregard comes in, he says, it's just like that one circumstance where you were in that one town. And he goes, no, there were 3 of them. And he flashes the light and blinds the one guy who was going to shoot Beauregard in the back. And then Trinity shot somebody else who was hiding behind a board. I guess he killed him. And then he shot the hat off of Beauregard. But I really think that is I've seen this movie a number of times. I think that is the only person he actually shoots in this film.
Yeah, those 3 guys always got caught holding up something. He would hit something above them, so they had to hold it up. R.G. Armstrong.
I didn't expect it to be a comedy, so I was like at first going, this is really okay. So I know Sergio Leone didn't direct it; he wrote it, so somebody else was in there directing. That scene in the carnival town, where he's all the carnival stuff, and he shoots the little guy that's sitting in the stilts and all that, and it's just had such a playful, weird quality to it. With all this other serious, Henry Fonda wasn't trying to be funny at all. The only funny character and circumstances is with Terence Hill. the Mr. Nobody.
Well, some of the bad guys were
well when they're
were
relating
funny.
to him, when they're relating.
But
to
it almost seemed like Henry Fonda was in a different movie
That's what I mean. It was totally
from everybody
strange.
else. Yeah,
Even that
'Cause he
scene
was
where
good.
he brings a ticking time bomb in.
Yeah,
And he throws
Yeah.
the bomb out. There was a lot.
but
of
there was
cool
no
things.
blood. There was no blood.
No.
You never saw a bullet shot. You know, like the other spaghetti westerns that you see. But I never saw this movie.
You never saw this one either?
No. I've seen Terence Hill in some movies, but I haven't seen the Trinity either. But I want to see it after watching this. The
first one is excellent. The second Trinity movie isn't as good because they lay in too deep into the comedy. You know, the first Trinity movie is
a little straighter.
Is a lot more fun.
Because
there's a guy who plays his brother in Trinity is hilarious too. He's
that the guy he's in all his movies? He died,
guy.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big guy. I forgot what.
One of the YouTube, they gave him those two a special Oscar, the two of them. I had never heard of Terence Hill before this film, so he's done other stuff other than this Trinity.
Yeah,
like you said,
he was an international superstar.
Really?
If you notice, he was billed ahead of Henry Fonda in this movie.
Oh wow, yeah, because when he first came up in that fishing scene where he's catching the fly and then he uses the fly to catch whatever he's spanking. I'm like, why are they showing this dude? I don't understand what's going on. Henry Fonda just walking through the woods and he, runs in on this guy. Now, I have a theory that he was his guardian angel. Henry Fonda's
really
I mean, if
was.
you look at all the posters, this one doesn't show it as well. But the saddle thing that he was wearing always made him look like he had angel wings.
He had wings. Yeah.
And I'm like, and the way he was protected. The way and if you look, there's some other posters that show it even more. But every time they showed him, he only saddled up once when he got that horse after bombing those guys, right?
Right.
By agreeing to bring the bomb in, and then every time he had those saddle things, it always looked like angel wings back there, and he basically was protecting Henry Fonda through the whole film.
Yeah.
And right up to the end where you think he shoots him, and it turns out that was a fugazi to get him back on the train to get him out of there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my.
He's also guiding him the entire time.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Paving the way.
Maybe by watching
the Hand of Destiny,
Wings of Desire, and all these angel movies we've been watching, that everything's an angel movie now. But I can't get past the fact that those things look like angel.
I think
wings
Debbie is having a real positive influence on you, Ralph.
It's amazing. Anyway, and I like he protected him through the whole thing, even driving that train right through the middle of.
He wanted him to be a legend. He created the legend, and then he allowed him to get out. Now, so when I saw this movie, because like I said, I've been watching the trilogy movies with Clint Eastwood, and I love Once Upon a Time in the West. So that's what I thought this movie was going to be like. I did not know it was going to be mugging and fast music. I was expecting the music from the other spaghetti westerns, and instead. Again, it was like can't even describe what that music was like, and I like Terence Hill.
Weird.
Yeah, well,
it is very weird.
There was a song in there that kept it wasn't When the Saints Go Marching In, but there was some other song that kept.
Yeah, it was Rise of the Valkyrie, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. They kept playing it, but fast.
Right.
And Terence Hill, who I liked in it, it was. Like I said, it was like him and Henry Fonda were in two different movies because he kept mugging for the fast when they were slapping, they sped up the film. It was so strange.
That's the same as the Trinity's, but the Trinity was doing it.
Well, I know that now.
Yeah.
But my only experience with spaghetti westerns are the ones I mentioned, and it was nothing like that. If anything, it was more rooted in reality than this was. And one other issue I had with it, I liked it by the way, because I love Henry Fonda anyway. But the ending when he shot him, and he died, and they faked everybody out. Well, how do you pull that off? They don't show it, right? They show Henry Fonda go down.
Well, I think I was about to call him Trinity. I think nobody probably would be able to arrange all these sort of things.
Rushed over to maybe he got.
Yeah,
maybe he had other people in on it.
He was an angel.
Okay,
he was an angel.
No, I think there's that's not a bad take on that, Ralph. That's kind of an interesting way to look at it. But it kind of the slapsticky stuff took me out of it a little bit.
At first it did, but then once I dove into it, especially that scene at the bar where he drinks about 8 gallons of whiskey. And he's still shooting the glasses out.
Right.
I mean, at that point, I'm 100% in on the guy, and I don't even care about Henry Fonda anymore. I just want to see this guy. his physicality, like I said, some of the stuff he was doing on the chair and the way he's, he was really fun to watch. Fun to watch. And
Now, Sean, do you know? I know they dub
there's one thing you would never see in a Western is when you're talking about when he was in the chair, when he was sitting out there and he turns and he puts the barrel of the gun down
on the ground.
On the ground.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It was fun.
You would never see that in a
and those things he was doing
somebody
with
handle a gun like that.
That weird
that dummy with the
that he would
straight out
use to
arm.
slap. Right.
But I wanted to ask you. I know they dub everything in post for these movies, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Henry Fonda dubbed his own voice, but Terence Hill, that was not his voice, was it? Or was it?
I think it is. He always has that voice.
Okay.
I've seen him in about 6 other movies, and he always has that voice. So I think that is him.
And when they do
these, I don't think they don't always dub everything. What happens is
some of the guys
people say the lines in their own language. So Henry Fonda would be there speaking in English.
Right.
But the other people in these scenes would be speaking,
But in these movies, because of the way they pick up the sound, they always have to go back and dub them. They had to do it in the Clint Eastwood movies,
but even though,
and I know they did it in this one.
Terence Hill looked like he was speaking English. He was not speaking Italian.
Yeah, I couldn't tell for sure.
I mean, there were times he definitely was speaking English. I mean,
and
they
he
even
always sounds like that. So if he's dubbed, they always use the same guy.
But I'm saying, even if they dub it anyway, even if they shoot on the set in English, they dub it again anyway. They loop it again after the fact anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So some of the people
like
are
some
speaking.
Italian filmmakers like Pasolini apparently never even really attempt to get any sound.
No, it's all.
And I tell you what about that circus bit, just like the carnival town.
Yeah.
You see, there's always something in an Italian Western that doesn't feel like an Italian, doesn't feel like America.
Yeah, that would be one
sort
of them.
And that would be one of them. But that was very Fellini-esque, with the men on stilts and all the stuff. And you could definitely, they were making lots of references like to Peckinpah and the Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful name in Navajo.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Peckinpah was in the graveyard.
The Tombstone. Yeah,
Right,
the Tombstone was Sam Peckinpah.
I had just watched Milius's Dillinger. And the two main
Warren
actors.
Oates? Is that Warren Oates?
Yep. And the guy
that's
who
a
played
great one.
the guy who played Pretty Boy Floyd was the guy who shaves Henry Fonda at the beginning, and then the guy at the end, the head of the Wild Bunch, was also one of the guys in I can't think of his name. He's been around forever. We've seen
Jeffrey something. He's in all the Clint Eastwood movies.
that guy. He's in everything, right?
Yeah.
I had just seen those guys because Milius did that in 1973 as well, right? So I'm seeing
that was
these
a great
guys.
movie.
Yeah, it was actually quite good. Have to admit, Warren Oates is great in everything, but that was good. But they're in this. So Pretty Boy Floyd, the guy who played him, was the first guy in this film that I recognized right away. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But when once I got past that fishing scene where I'm going, I don't understand, who is this guy that he's. Then I totally bought into it, and I liked his. Like I said, I liked his physicality. I liked what he was doing. The hat, the shoot and do the hat thing. That's a cute little shtick,
Yeah.
But would you say, like Sean, would you say that if you would tell somebody you want a representation of the spaghetti western, this is not the film you would have them watch, right?
No, it would be Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
Is Once Upon a Time in the West considered a spaghetti western?
Yes.
Just because it was shot
Yeah.
by
No,
Sergio
it was
Leone.
shot Monument Valley.
Yeah.
At least some
But
of
it was Sergio Leone.
Yeah, but it was not shot in Italy, right?
No.
That was no.
That wasn't.
So is that
But it was-
A lot
considered
of the spaghetti. There were lots of others since, and a lot of them were shot in Spain too.
I'm saying
Right.
I
A
would
lot of
think
the
a
spaghetti
spaghetti
western.
western would not be one shot in the United States. So I guess
No,
I'm
it's a style. It's a style.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
style. So I'm seriously asking this. Once Upon a Time in the West is considered a spaghetti western.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
It
going to
is.
challenge that.
You can. I mean, the trilogy movies, a lot of them were shot in Spain, not in Italy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If they were shot,
But they're spaghetti westerns. They're considered spaghetti westerns.
but weren't they done by Italian directors?
Yes.
Yeah, or
That's-
Italian people. Italian.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you also a
Well,
place.
then
when I heard-
Mission Impossible's a spaghetti. Spaghetti. No, I'm kidding. De Palma.
No, but
Don't point
yeah.
that at me.
Yeah. Like there are a lot of westerns apparently shot in Germany. That
Really?
was a place, during like the 90s and all. We'll never see any of them, but because they don't get released anywhere here. But apparently westerns are very popular still in Germany, and a lot of them were shot in Germany. And this film was a co-production of Italy, Spain, and Germany.
Well, Terence Hill's a German native, right? He was German and Italian. He spoke them fluently.
Well, I know he's Italian.
He's German as well.
Well, they moved to Italy. They moved to Italy from wherever he was born. I guess it might have been Germany.
Was this his
the blue
last?
eyes, but there's blue eyes in northern Italy too.
Right. Was this his last of this character, or did he do more of these?
Of the nobody character?
This Trinity nobody. This guy.
Yeah, this was a
one-off.
Yeah,
it
was.
But it's the same
but
guy.
He always plays
guy.
the same kind of guy.
Right. But it wasn't the Trinity character.
Yeah. You never see him as like a serious businessman. You know what I mean?
Well, his later movies he was. His later stuff.
Well, he did one that came out in the theaters in the late 70s too, like where he like inherits $1 billion or something. I think it's called The Billionaire or something. I know that played my local theater too. But he remained a gigantic star in Europe.
Right.
Long after we stopped watching.
So did you see this?
But he always had a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this in the movie theater.
Okay.
Back in the day.
So as an adult now looking at it and comparing it to the other movies, especially the music is what for me I found the most startling thing about this movie. Watching the movies that I've been watching recently, and then just listening to the music, I was like, "What is this music?" And it's the same composer. What was he trying to do? He was like the complete opposite of what he was doing with the other
probably
movies.
his point. Probably his point was.
I think he just went over the top.
Yeah.
I think he decided
have some fun.
Just to have some fun with it. Yeah.
Now,
since that was the style of the movie.
You hear it sneak in though. You hear him sneak in his. Once Upon a Time in the West, you heard him sneak in the Frank theme. Every once in a while, you see a close up of Henry Fonda. You hear the Frank's, which is his character in Once Upon a Time in the West. So he was playing a little bit too. And he went on. Isn't he the one that did this with Tarantino? Right? Didn't he win the Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Am I thinking of the right guy? Ennio Morricone?
Oh, you're talking about the musician? No. The composer?
Did he do the music? Yeah, I thought he did the music, not for that, but for his Western. The Hateful Eight.
Django?
Oh, you might be right. You're right.
Django?
I'm sorry. No. Django and Hateful Eight. Definitely Hateful Eight, right? I think he did.
Yeah, how old is this guy?
He was ancient.
He
had all those disco hits, too.
He did?
All those Donna Summer disco hits.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was the producer, composer, songwriter on a lot of those like late 70s, early 80s. I didn't know that. Disco hits.
So he had some fun with this one. And they all look like, except for Henry Fonda, who.
I think
and the guy playing the gold baron or whoever he was.
Yeah, I think it worked with Henry Fonda playing it straight because I think it helped his character. And I don't because first of all, that's not Henry Fonda anyway.
No, he wouldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
He's not going to play it over the top like that. He wouldn't have any interest in that.
It wouldn't be.
And I think it was a nice contrast to the mentor and the new guy, the new gunslinger.
Yeah. Or Guardian Angel and the guy
Guardian
Angel.
Guardian Angel, yeah. So gets him to retire. I like this. I like this Guardian Angel thing. That's kind of interesting.
Well, now when you see it, I'm telling you, you won't be able to not see it.
But even on the poster, you're right. Even that one you have there,
that one doesn't show it as well as the. There's some others where he's the only one in the poster. Terence Hill's the only one, and he's got his back turned, and definitely it looks like angel wings back there. So it's that was my take on it.
And that wasn't an accident, obviously.
No way. Yeah,
that's
what I think. I think that they went for it. So and that's what he did. He protected him through the whole film.
Yeah.
The music though is hilarious. Nobody has his own theme, which is kind of like
playful theme, right?
Out of character. It's playful, kind of out of character. And then some of those like circus scenes. There's like some sort of some sort of children's choir thing when he's doing the dummy to hit the people and all. Hey, and I hope we all caught that reference to Lady from Shanghai in the mirror scene. From
now that you say it, I do. Yeah. The House of Mirrors.
I think they were wearing their references on their sleeve. It makes me think that these guys were having a great deal of fun making a movie, making references to the things they love, even with the score. It seems like and it was shot really well.
I was just going to say, and even with a playful attitude and a comedy, the scenes of those Wild Bunch where they shoot those vistas and you see the horses from so far away, you see the clouds of dust kicking up, and then they would cut every once in a while to the full 150 guys on horses. I mean, that's some ambitious filmmaking right there.
Well, they obviously didn't make this one like the trilogy movies were made on shoestring budgets. This had a good budget. I mean, with all the settings that they had. Yeah. So there was some money pumped in it. Now, Sean, do you know, did this movie do well? I mean, I'm sure it did well in Europe. Did it do well here?
I don't know how it did here.
I can't imagine. I'd never heard
I
of it.
think, by the time this movie was coming out, at the theater I grew up at, we saw all the late John Wayne movies and the occasional Dean Martin westerns of the late 60s and all. But that, once, like Scorsese and all started making the movies and all, and Brian De Palma, people went away. Those filmmakers didn't want to work in the Western genre.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think by the time that film hit here, Westerns had long crested. So I can't.
That's a good point.
I can't imagine that it did well.
Well,
and it's really a pity because people are like, well, Westerns are simplistic. No, they're not. Look at like Unforgiven. Even look at Once Upon a Time in the West and say a lot of moral ambiguity in that movie and all.
Well, the outlaw Josie Wales. I mean, you can see the influence.
Clint Eastwood.
Obviously.
Clint Eastwood could continue making the Westerns, but if you look at it, there's that Silverado. There were 2 versions of Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, but now you're talking 80s and 90s,
later.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like people gave up on the Western. Yeah,
Say
Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it was box office death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
well, then you had that
really
run. You had that.
By?
We had Wyatt Earp come out, and Tombstone came out the same year. Then you have a run of stuff. I was going to say something. There's a scene in this one that they did in Jaws, and they also did in Josie Wales, which is the boat that takes the horses across the river. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. They did that in this film. There's a scene where they're doing the same thing, and then Spielberg uses that in Jaws. Obviously, the cars are on that one instead. And then the famous scene in Josie Wales where he shoots the rope as it's going halfway across. So, I mean, you can see this stuff all over Clint's, even in Unforgiven, some of the stuff he did in that. Definitely, obviously, he was influenced by what he was doing in the spaghetti westerns. But I'm not saying anything nobody knew. But it's just fun to see all these elements, even with all the slapstick, all the elements in this film that go on to go in all these other films.
Yeah, as well they were making fun of the tropes. They were having fun with the tropes making this movie, but then they became tropes too. Right. They did such a good job of building onto what they did that it became a further building block. And I think, the drinking scene, which may be my favorite scene, where he has a drinking contest and shooting contest. There's a woman there with the guy, and she's just sitting. She's
right to his right.
Was it the director's wife?
I have no idea. She's just laughing at him the whole time.
I know, but I have a feeling that wasn't in the script. I think she was just having she was just having a good time while they were shooting it.
Yeah.
That was
a fun scene.
And he got lucky. He got lucky on that one.
Walks up, and he slaps the one guy on the cheek a couple times, like in a friendly gesture, and the guy's grinding his teeth in anger.
Right. Yeah.
I mean that was one. There's a lot of scenes I love, but that's probably my favorite. And they speed it up, but it's still hilarious.
And you don't expect him to actually show him drinking that much liquor like that. I mean, I didn't expect that they were actually going to.
Well, I was wondering, was he faking it, being drunk, because he was still able to shoot so well?
I guess.
So was that an act? I don't know.
Well, he was doing all kinds of crazy things.
I know.
Think about how much you had. Think about the production. How much he had to drink to shoot that scene.
Oh yeah. How many takes they must have done.
Because how many takes they had. That's what when I watched it this time. That's what was really hitting me. It's like, oh my God, he is drinking so much, and he probably like that big glass, the big beer thing.
How about all those gross beans he had to eat? He kept eating out.
He was eating all the time.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's eating a lot of gross beans. And,
that's Brad Pitt.
In Trinity, you'll see.
Brad Pitt took that from him. lot of food.
I knew you'd bring Brad
Well, how
Pitt
could you
into it
not?
somehow.
I mean, that guy Terence Hill was as handsome as Brad Pitt is. That guy was like
he was a
handsome.
When they couldn't cast Franco Nero, they would cast Terence Hill.
Yeah,
they're always confused.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Every film I see of him, he always has a twinkle in his eye.
He's great.
Yeah, like he's in on the joke a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever heard of him.
Whether it's a contemporary film. There was one where I think he was the coach of a sports team I saw too. You know, it's sort of like it was on Tubi or something. It's like, oh, Terence Hill, I'm going to watch it, you know. So
he did a lot of television.
I would really like to see.
I looked at his IMDb.
He did a lot of Italian television.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Well, it was a pleasant surprise after all the spaghetti westerns I've been watching, and I mean, it took me a little while. The startledness of the style. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I was shocked when
it was a little off-putting at first, but when you just let it roll over you, you're like, "Okay, I'm in. I'm in." And I thought he was
I'll tell
great.
you. Also, as you probably noticed, because if you've seen Once Upon a Time in the West, it had the same opening. 3 guys waiting to kill somebody.
Right.
In this case, they took over the train station, and in this, they took over the barber shop.
Yeah.
And it had similar ending, you know, and. So it's and apparently that was a scene that sequence, Sergio, Leone directed the
first
barber
one,
shop sequence.
the barber.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
Yeah, apparently he did that. But to me, that was a homage to Once Upon a Time in the West. You know, that scene. You know, and so that was, that was a lot.
Why
of
wouldn't
fun.
they show? Oh, so they do that whole scene with the Gold Baron or the Gold Baron with the head of the Wild Bunch, which is you recognize him because of the sawed-off, whatever that short shotgun that he had strapped. to his leg.
The Steve McQueen one from
right,
Wanted
and
Dead or
his
Alive.
leather pants, his pants that showed his ass, right? So that's the very last shot is him faking like a gun and putting it up in his rump, right? That's why do you think they hid the guy's face in that scene? You never see his face in the scene.
That is really odd.
I thought he was going to come back and it was going to be some reveal.
Yeah.
That was the guy, and they never did anything with it.
The only reveal was he had the same gun in the pants. That's what told me.
Maybe it's something that got cut out.
Maybe he wasn't.
Because he made a conscious effort not to show his face. Kept it in the shadows.
I was literally wondering about that this time too. It's like they're really staging this, because usually, the shot selection is
they'd be
very
close-ups
good
of his
movies.
eyes and face,
right?
Because that guy's got a great.
And
he's got a beautiful face to shoot that guy too. I mean, he's got very character. He's got character to his face. So that was surprising. And the sets, I was gonna that even the set with the Gold Baron. I love that set with all the windows that were up in the way they're all looking out over the mountains and stuff. Really well done. Really well shot. So I was surprised. I was surprised that I liked it, and surprised that now I want to see more of this guy. Terence Hill. I'll go back and look at the Trinity, the 2 Trinities, because if it's
look at the first one first.
Well,
the second one gets by on the character's charms, but the first one, and once again in Trinity, even they're, it's like it's the form of America, but not quite the substance.
Right.
In the sense that, he's helping a religious community, but they're pacifists, so they're being bullied by a rancher, but they're also polygamists. So it's like they're Mormons. They don't say what they are. Mormons are polygamists, but they were never pacifists. It's sort of like a combination of Amish and Mormons that he's helping. But this is tradition. It's sort of like Good, Bad, and the Ugly. One thing I always have a problem with in that movie is the big battle, because for the Civil War battle. Because I don't think there was a battle that big of regular troops that far west, in deserty like area that far west. I mean, there was certainly combat in the west, but not of that size. And that's just a nitpick about it, because I think it's a great movie. But this had a great showdown between like when he's waiting on the chair. It has all the music, it has getting off, it has him revealing his gun, putting his life is hanging by a thread.
Yeah.
And it's good at the showdown at the end, because, nobody's a kind of a narcissist, and they sort of wait for the cameraman to position himself.
That's right. I forgot about that whole camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun. This was fun. So
Yeah, good choice. I mean, we look at some heavy stuff sometimes, and there was nothing heavy about this one, so I enjoyed it.
Now, how do you think this would have played in the Yippee-Ki-Yay?
I don't.
well, I think Debbie would have certainly vibed to the angel thing. I think Chris Coker would have. I think he would have enjoyed it. I think it would have gone fine. I wouldn't see any one of us bringing this one though. This would never be one that I.
I think everyone would enjoy it. It's a fun movie to watch. I don't think anyone would, unless you're really big into the spaghetti westerns, and you don't like that it was so slapsticky.
Yeah,
I could
would
see
not
where
be
someone
aching.
say,
This is not one. The whole thrust of Yippee-Ki-Yay was to bring films that you ache for, right? That you really want other people to see and maybe enjoy or not enjoy, or at least see it for the first time. This is not one that I wouldn't say this you have to see. Now, Once Upon a Time in the West, I would say, yes, you've got to see that one.
I'm thinking of bringing that. Debbie hates that movie, though.
I don't
she
know
just
why.
Thinks it's,
I mean, it's pretty misogynist, but...
it's very dark.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda
how
kills
he
a
treats
kid.
young Charles Bronson.
Yeah. It's awful.
Oh, my God.
But
I really
it's
think that
so
has
good.
the best showdown ever.
Oh,
At the end of that, between Bronson
and even
Fonda.
that train scene where nothing happens for minutes on it at a time is just great. I want to say one more thing before this one. I love that there's one shot at the beginning where they have those boat full of African Americans,
Yeah,
just
that's
playing.
a nice touch.
I don't know if it's a nice touch. It seemed a little...
No, I mean, it's just odd that it's there.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, how about when they were getting pies thrown at them? And then
that's right.
He saves them from that.
Yeah, I forgot
and
about
yanks
that.
them right out.
That's right. Yeah.
And he had the plate, and then he took part of the table with it and knocked the guy out. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So good choice. I'm glad you brought this. This was fun to watch.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm surprised that neither of you had seen it.
Yeah.
I never have.
I never would have.
But now I'll watch the first Trinity one because, like I said, I'm in that mode right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Sean, this is the part of the show where we do Stream Quest and we talk about what we're watching. Oh, look at that! That is beautiful. Oh, look at that. Look at that logo. That is awesome. So Sean, I didn't know if you knew if we were going to do this or not. We do it on YKY, but we also do it here. Is there anything you're watching that you want to talk about? If you don't have anything, that's fine. Anything.
No, Debbie and I are just enjoying Curb Your Enthusiasm again.
Yeah, the new season started.
The new season.
Yeah.
Which sadly is not streaming in the normal way where they release all the episodes now.
Well, they never
So
did.
we watched like the 5 episodes in like one night. Now we're
they're all getting away from that.
Curb always dropped one at a time though. Curb always dropped.
Yeah, so what you do is you wait till they all drop and then you watch them in one.
This is
sitting.
the one. This and Sopranos.
When the boys come out, that's what I'm doing.
No, I watched Succession and then I watched Curb on HBO. And
we also watched Hamilton on. We finally got Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
To watch them.
I was very impressed with that version of Hamilton. The film version, the filmed version of it.
Yeah,
quite enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't neither Debbie or I were grooving to it at first, but it's really long, and by the time it was over, we were really into it.
Yeah, I just loved it. I thought King George was fantastic. The guy who was in Mindhunter playing King George, that little.
Oh, he was great. That was always good.
So good, so good. Yeah.
All right, Ralph, what are you watching?
I got to tell you, last night at 10 o'clock, I got to watch something. And I was going to put a movie on. And I decided to go watch, not a movie, I went to Netflix and watched Midnight Mass. Started watching Midnight Mass.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Debbie and I watched that, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Mike Flanagan hit another home run. He's a hometown boy, right, Sean? Is he a Baltimore guy?
Well, he's actually from Boston, but
I
knew him in Baltimore. I knew him.
He's a hometown boy.
I think he's from Boston. I knew him since he was a college student, a couple years in.
He's been hitting home runs, and this one, you saw it, you said, Sean, right?
Yeah.
So I put it on at 10 o'clock.
So what's the gist?
There are
what's
7.
The gist of it?
First of all, there's 7 of them. So I watched all 7 last night.
7 episodes.
From 10 to 6 a.m. I just couldn't stop, because once I get in, I'm like,
it's about a priest who seems to have miracle powers who comes to it.
He comes to a small
seaside town.
Well, it starts the main protagonist is a guy who lived on this fishing island, went away to Chicago to do stocks and stuff, gets something, has a DUI thing, goes to jail for 4 years, and then comes back to the island. But the island has been depressed by an oil spill and stuff. So the island, everybody's desperate. So they're looking for something. Religion becomes a big part of what they're looking for. And like Sean said, this priest comes on and things start happening. But it's so monologue heavy. And that is not an insult at all. It's fantastic. The words
It's
are
nice to hear
fantastic.
people talk for a change.
And there's all these scenes with just two people talking in a scene that are just devastating. They're honest, and it's not a horror. I don't want to say it's a horror gore fest, but it's supernatural. The stuff going on.
Oh, it is. Okay, so it is supernatural.
Stuff going on, and it's just not jump scary stuff, but it's Stephen King but done better. He's done this guy director. What's his name? Mike Flanagan. He did the sequel. He did Dr. Sleep, right? He did Gerald's Game.
He also did Gerald's Game.
Did you ever see Gerald's Game? That Stephen King. And Hush. He did Hush. His wife, who was in Hush, is in this one as well.
He also did Oculus. Have you seen Oculus?
Right. I haven't, but from what I understand, that got good reviews as well. And he's done the spring. There's another horror anthology he did for Netflix. I want to say it's Silent Hill, maybe, or something, or no.
He did Haunting a Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor.
And he's hitting home runs left and right. And this is his original, produced, written, directed by Mike Flanagan. And I could not stop watching it. I had to watch it right to the end. All the actors do such a great job. The script is amazing.
So is it set up for a second season?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, it could.
Potentially.
I'll have to check it out. I've heard good things about it, but I haven't seen it.
Ralph hit it right. It's like somebody said, "Have you seen the new?"
Well,
I tell you what, people I've been talking to about movie of Chapel Street are saying, do it to streaming instead. And I wasn't thinking of doing it streaming until I saw Midnight Mass.
He spent years trying to put that together.
Yeah. They owed him. What I really liked about it is something you said. It gave people a chance to talk.
Yeah.
I really felt
it's religion. It's about religion. It's about atheism. It's about, the differences between everybody. Faith. It's definitely about faith and what that means to different people. Redemption, obviously. All kinds of stuff. And yes, people are speaking to each other. And it's like a Tarantino film. You want to hear it. You're not bored by it.
Yeah.
It propels everything, and the actors just really dive into it and do such an amazing job. And the lead guy playing the priest,
great performance.
I've seen this guy in all kinds of different things. Let me see if I can his name is. This IMDb. Why isn't he at the top?
This is riveting.
Hey, this is the way it goes.
This is research.
I don't see his name. It's too bad. But he was also in The Big Short. He plays one of the stockbrokers that works with the main guys there. Yeah,
Not Ribisi.
Not Ribisi.
Not him.
No. But I think there's a great star turn for
Oh my God! And Henry Thomas played one of the guys. I didn't even know that was Henry Thomas.
From E.T.?
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was him. Because everybody they age them at the beginning and things happen.
Oh.
And things.
Yeah. You know what?
Film.
It's funny. I didn't even
No
notice
spoilers.
that.
No, me neither. It was done very well.
All right, well, I'll have to check it out.
So I was
Yeah,
very
you should check
happy.
it out.
But people were saying you got to see the new Stephen King thing on Netflix, Midnight Mass. I'm like, I don't think that's Stephen King.
No, it's Steve. It's Hamish Linklater. Hamish Linklater.
Oh, yeah.
Look him
Love
up.
Him. I will.
No, you've seen him in all kinds of stuff.
Do you see that ad for the new DiCaprio movie on Netflix?
That's going to be. Yeah, that's.
That looks Adam McKay production. That looks incredible.
Yeah.
Looks
Well,
very
I'm
fun.
saying later this week, I'm going to a press screening of the new George Clooney film, The Tender Bar.
What's he doing?
He directed
What's it called?
a movie.
Oh.
The Tender Bar, I believe. It's a press
What did I
screening
hear? He's
for
going to
him, I
be
guess.
in a series. Buck Rogers.
Oh, really?
They're talking about remaking
Really?
Buck Rogers with him. A series. Yeah. that could
It's
be
funny.
interesting.
He came out today in some podcasts attacking Alec Baldwin.
He went after
Well, not
Baldwin
attacking
hard.
him. He's attacking the production of that film.
Well,
I don't think
he's
he
the-
really
he's
attacked
the-
him.
The producer.
He's
But he's
the
like,
producer.
you
I
open the
understand that,
gun,
but-
you
Yeah.
look in the gun, you check the bullets.
Well, listen.
I mean, he was saying you do all those things, and a lot of people, for that to happen, a lot of people drop a lot of balls. Something like that to happen.
When you think about, look, it's awful what happened, but when you think about all the movies where there's guns, this does not happen often.
Yeah, but that's
right?
all I think about now when I see any guns in any films now.
Well,
now it's just
but listen,
it's like, holy cow, I can't believe. I know.
You never point a gun at anybody. You never.
I'm not defending Alec Baldwin, but because he's producing the show, he's got so many things on his mind.
There's
he's expecting people to.
There's no defense for that. Two people, one
when you
dead.
consider, but also when you consider, union people have been walking off the set.
That's right.
For safety
they had a lot of problems.
There's some issues going on. It's the same as the poor woman who got killed on the train bridge. It's like that's just a breakdown.
Yeah, Sarah Jones
from the start. It's just people.
Okay, now we're getting down. Can I talk about what I'm watching? Because now you're starting to depress me.
Okay.
So I recently got a membership for Criterion Channel. Which I love. Right. So I've been going down the rabbit hole with that, and I found a movie.
That's where I watched Dillinger on. Actually,
it looks like an interesting cast, so I'm going to watch it. It's 2001's Ghost World, starring Thora Birch, one of Scarlett Johansson's first films, and Steve Buscemi.
Yes, Steve Buscemi.
Directed, I think it was also. It's based on a comic book by Daniel Close. Have you seen it, Sean?
No, oddly enough, that I'm familiar with it, but I did not see that.
Is that
one.
animated?
I don't know why.
No, it's not.
No, it's real.
But it's about two girls that graduate from high school, and it's what happens between the end of high school and their adult life. It was funny. The lead is Thora Birch, not Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson plays the friend. Thora Birch is the lead in it. It was a strange movie. I liked it. It was not laugh out loud funny, but it was funny. You know what it reminded me of? That movie Juno, the lead in Juno. Yeah. That's who she reminded me of. Very everything was a quick response, but it got a little weird because at one point she has a relationship with Steve Buscemi, who's much older than her, and that's when it got a little creepy. But it's. Each character, there's not a lot of redeeming quality in any of the characters. But I would say if you get a chance and you like that independent vibe, check out the movie. Steve Buscemi plays like a nebbish, a nerd. It was really interesting. If you get a chance, check it out. Ghost World. Okay. And Scarlett Johansson was beautiful when she was 17 too. So she was she's a good looking girl. But get a chance, and I recommend. I haven't had the Criterion channel because, frankly, most of my laser discs are Criterion, so I never felt it was necessary to get the channel till I've been watching it. It's got great stuff on there. The only problem I have with it, they don't add a lot of stuff very often. So
no, but what they have is quality. It's quality.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh, it's excellent. It's
and when
excellent,
they curate like gangster films, I mean, that's like I said. That's where I saw Dillinger. I watched Dillinger that one, and. Now it makes me want to go watch Public Enemy, Michael Mann's Dillinger film. Which I'm
Sean,
sure
what, Sean?
One of my disappointments with Disney, and I'm sure it's going to change over time, is they got the Fox library too, but they're not putting as many. Right. I would just love to see them put the entire Fox catalog out. They got like the big ones like Sound of Music and more family-oriented musicals and more family-oriented films. But to me, I would rather see all the Fox films than the Disney films. But it's great stuff, and we got it for the grandkids.
Disney will when it's time for them to raise their rates, they'll add more stuff to their catalog. That's what they're going to do. Because
I just read something. They're adding more adult stuff too.
They're scrambling because they thought Marvel and Star Wars was going to carry them. And it's not happening. The Mandalorian.
And now Disney owns the Alien franchise, and all they're going to do is
Fox.
a series. I know, but they own the franchise now.
Well,
and they're not going to do any more.
They canceled the Star Wars movies that they had going.
Yeah,
they have some streaming content they're going to do, but now they have no scheduled Star Wars movie, and the recent Marvel stuff hasn't done as well.
No,
but you can catch some of my
into new actors and all.
You can catch some of my National Geographic work on there, so that's always nice.
That's because Marvel and Star Wars are getting away from if you listen to the producers of Marvel and Disney right now, not Disney, Marvel and Star Wars, if you listen to them, then they don't like the fans. So they do not service the fans. And the movies don't reflect what the fans want. Now, the reason why The Mandalorian was such a hit, Jon Favreau and Fillion are huge Star Wars fans. And they went back to the roots of Star Wars. They didn't retcon everything. And it was a big hit. And they need to get back to that. Because the people that they're trying, with their new approach, right, that they're using, that's not the audience that are going to watch those movies. The fans want what they want, what they remember, what made the Avengers, the first phase of Marvel, great. We're going back to the roots of the comics, and Robert Downey and Chris Evans, and same thing with Star Wars. They turned Luke into an awful character. They killed Han. That's not what the people want. The people want The Mandalorian, and I think they'll get back to that if they're smart.
It's the same argument about Alien 3.
No, you're wrong.
They killed
the numbers,
Newton.
Ralph. You can say that, but the numbers reflect it. The numbers reflect what I'm saying.
But aren't we sick of? No, you're not. But not
to me, the first
you're
film,
not the fan.
The first film I saw that really,
because I'm an adult.
Maybe not the first that went to war with the fans, was that Ghostbusters female remake.
Absolutely,
they really attacked the fans.
That's right.
And they're like, but to me, they weren't destroying the franchise with that movie, because to me, Ghostbusters 2 destroyed the franchise.
Yeah.
That was a terrible sequel.
Yeah.
And I know the new one, the sneaks are this
Afterlife.
week.
Afterlife.
Yeah, Afterlife. Yeah. But it was really amazing how they were just like joyfully attacking the fans for Ghostbusters. And the thing is,
well, Mike Figgis, is that who directed that? Did Mike Figgis direct that?
Yes. Mike Figgis
directed. I think he's a tad full of himself.
Well, he is, because he went after, when people ragged on that movie, they said it's misogynist. You're doing it only because it's women. I go, no, the movie wasn't funny. Yeah. It just wasn't. Right. It was awful. You look at that. The first one holds up.
Well, but that's lightning in a bottle, okay? They can't.
Yeah, because they couldn't even repeat it.
But then they rushed the sequel.
Murray was hospital. Yeah,
that's right.
And Murray was kind of hostile to it too.
He didn't want to do it.
But
he was right.
If you watch some of the behind the scenes, they thought the female version that they were laughing at everything they were doing, all the improv that they were doing. They thought was the great. Mike Figgis is with this bow tie, whatever. Let's go. You guys are funny. And guess what? Not so funny.
Hey. I was really disappointed. I don't think Debbie and I even finished the movie. We were watching it one night.
It was terrible.
We'll watch it tomorrow night, and we never finished.
Now, John, you're gonna review Dune, right?
Yeah.
But are you going to go to the movie theater to see it, or review it off what you watched on television?
I've already saw it, so
I know you saw it on. I saw it on your TV.
That would be a tough movie to watch after I just saw it. To go to a movie theater now and watch it, I don't know if I could do that.
And you haven't seen the Bond one yet? No Time to Die?
No. I'm going to see it.
You'll see in the theater.
Yeah, that'll go to the theater.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
So I did watch all those guys do the pitch. Those two guys that do the pitch, Barely Inconvenience.
Yeah.
No, the one guy.
I know. That's how the one guy. I thought I said two.
James Bond is tight.
Right. They did all of them, all the Daniel Craig, and I just
listen. I need you to get way off my back about that.
Anyway, all right.
They're great.
Now,
those are great.
Anytime someone says the word tight, Debbie and I just start laughing.
Even Rose.
In any context.
Rose always says, "No, that's super easy, purely and inconvenient." She says it all the time to me. She thinks they're hilarious. I sent that guy a note. I said, "Listen, keep doing these, man. They're so funny."
It's like the two guys. Remember the two guys that used to do the fast food thing? The two guys that would sit in their front car. It's not Shakey's. What is that? Oh my God.
Oh, Sonic.
Those two guys should have had their own friggin' TV show. And now they're not doing them anymore. Those guys were a riot.
They weren't diverse enough.
Oh, two all white guys. Yeah.
You look at it. They should find some way to capitalize. Look at Ernest. Not as an example of high culture. A guy who made some commercials. Hey, Vern.
Yeah. Hey, Vern. Hey, Vern.
I worked with the guy who discovered him.
Really?
Yes. Steve Howard, a director in D.C., put him in his first commercials with. I think it was with they were doing Redskins commercials at the time. And he was whatever he's Vern or whatever I forget.
Yeah, Ava.
Vern.
Ernest. He's Ernest, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Ernest
Vern
Gilbert.
was the guy who was always talking to him.
Right.
Hey, Vern.
Yeah.
Right up to the camera. Hey, Vern.
So
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's dead,
there
by
you
the
go.
way. He died.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Sad.
Ernest or Vern?
Ernest.
Vern is still
Ernest
alive.
died.
He's still there.
Yeah, Vern is still alive.
Vern oddly is still alive.
So
Well, Sean, thank you for joining us. I appreciate
Thanks for
it. It was
having
fun.
me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's nice to have only three of us. We get a little more conversation going. So we appreciate it. And we'll see
the
you
next
next.
Yippee-ki-yay, are we confirmed? Is your guy confirmed?
Yeah.
No, I will. I'll send him a text tonight.
Yeah,
okay?
The star
I got
of Friday the 13th part
If he doesn't do
5.
that, I got a Nicolas Cage film that might surprise you guys.
Yeah, you know what? I went on one of the movies things, and I typed in Nick Cage movies, and
Zillions.
I cannot believe how many movies came up that I've never heard of before.
Well, a lot of them
with
are
Nick
direct to
Cage.
video. A lot of them are direct to video.
Whatever.
I
And I'm
went to
trying-
the expert, my nieces, and said, "What is the most Nicolas Cagey of the
No,
Nicolas
you can't.
Cage
See, that's the
films?"
thing. The most Nicolas Cagey doesn't. You can't pigeonhole the guy. The guy can't be pigeonholed.
No, he can't. He definitely can't. Yeah,
Right.
I'm having a tough time picking one.
I got an interesting one because I love the film, and the film's weird, and he's not the bombastic Nicolas Cage. He's very introspective, and it's different. But we'll talk about it if we.
Well,
do
that's
it,
going to
so.
be fun. That's the other
Yeah.
show. But if you
Well, I'm
like
prepared
this
to go
show,
either way.
if you like this show, you know what we want
Sean,
you to do.
what do you
Sean,
gotta do?
What do you want him to do?
I want you to slam the
Slam.
subscribe button.
Smash that like
Smash
button.
it.
Share
Yeah.
it. Subscribe. Tell the world. Thanks
And
again,
it's very
Sean.
easy. Hardly an inconvenience to do it.
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Those guys are
And
funny.
it's tight.
Those guys are funny. I love those two guys. Ralph, we'll get some more content for this, and we'll see you.
I can't
We'll see
wait.
you guys in a couple of weeks.
Is that more editing for me?
Yeah, a little bit, not much though. I'll edit everything myself. I only need the beginning and an end. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Sean.
See ya.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for coming on.
I'll see you. Bye.
Bye.